Hey, what's up guys? So I actually just got off work. I'm still in my scrubs, but I wanted to talk to you guys while I, settle down and chill out a little bit about the Note 7. See, when the S7 and the S7 Edge came out, I was super excited. I like the design and I like where Samsung is going. And when I got to experience them both, especially the S7 Edge, I was just blown away by the performance. In fact, I still think to this day, the S7 Edge is one of my favorite phones ever. Well, when the Note 7 was announced and I got some hands-on time with it, I was super stoked. And once mine arrived, I was so excited to get home and open it that I guess my expectations were way up here, but the delivery of the phone was like here. That's not to say it's a bad phone. I just think that I had too high of expectations. And with that being said, these are 6 ways the Note 7 has pretty much failed. So I guess the first way the Note 7 has failed is battery life. Well, let's go ahead and get the elephant out of the room. See, the S7 Edge has a bigger battery, it gets better battery life. The S7 Active has a much bigger battery and it gets way better battery life. The Note 7, I'm averaging between 4 to 4.5 hours of screen on time, and that's on a good day. In fact, the battery monitoring software doesn't even do a good job in TouchWiz with the Note 7. Sometimes I'll go to look at it and it doesn't even show that I've used any of my screen. So I downloaded the GSAM app and that's how I've been, getting my average. And my highest so far is 5.5 hours, and that was because I was not connected to a cellular network. I was just on my Wi-Fi and setting up the Note 7. And I guess my biggest issue is the fact that the Active has a 4,000 milliamp hour battery. And if you look at it side by side with the Note 7, it's not that much thicker when you slim off some of that rubber. So they could have easily put that 4,000 milliamp hour battery in the Note 7, but they didn't because they were trying to have certain features for specific devices, which I get for marketing, but it's a Note. So when it comes to the overall design, Samsung has really made incredible phones the past couple of years and they've nailed the premium mark. And yeah, I got a mirror on the ground. What are you gonna do about it? And that's a paper reef. But with that being said, they're very delicate. And this brings me to the next failure. The Note 7 features Gorilla Glass 5 on the front and back for protection. But here's the issue, it's still glass. And there's been a bunch of tests on the internet already showing that Gorilla Glass 5 isn't that strong. I mean, they did a scratch test and they showed that it's only 1 step above plastic. Now, of course, the folks over at Gorilla Glass, they weren't too happy with the test and they came out with an opening statement saying that it was the metal being used and those aren't really scratches, it was just the residue from the metal and it can be hard to remove that residue. Personally, I think they were scratches. It's glass scratches. Sand will scratch any glass and that's a fact, and metal is going to scratch glass. Now, do I think that Gorilla Glass 5 is stronger than 4? Yes. I just think it's more durable when it comes to dropping your phone, not necessarily the scratches. And this is one thing that Samsung is going to have to fix if they're going to keep up with this glass on the front and glass on the back design. For me personally, I haven't had any scratching on my Note 7, and that's because I'm rocking a Spigen and Slick Wraps case, as well as that lovely and amazing looking cork skin from Slick Wraps, and I don't have to worry about any scratches. So I definitely suggest picking up some type of protection, whether it's a skin, a case, something to protect that back because it can get damaged. Now, with the glass in mind, I want to talk to you guys about the heat that this phone puts off. Now, the Snapdragon 820 CPU or chipset is known to have a lot of heat. Now, does it overheat? It doesn't get to the point where it shuts down or anything like that. But I've been at work on my phone under direct sunlight, taking a quick break, checking out some Twitter, maybe some Feedly, trying to find out what's going on in the world. And the back of the phone almost gets to the point where it's intolerable. And the screen gets super dim, and it's just, they could have done a better job. Maybe put the Exynos chipset in it in the US variants. I don't know, it's in-house. Why don't they want to do that? Who knows? It's this whole marketing thing. So the number 4 failure that I personally think that embraces the Note 7 has got to be the performance. Now, this goes back to that same Snapdragon 820 chipset. It's a bigger phone. It has more features. It has a pen. It has a bigger display. Why not put a bigger processor in it? Why keep the same one that is in all of your other phones? It makes no sense, and it really does affect the performance of this phone. Now, is it snappy? Yes. It is definitely a very responsive phone, but I have downloaded some third-party keyboards, and I guess you guys are gonna say that it's the app. But you know what? It actually happens in the regular interface or TouchWiz, as well as through third-party software, and that's the lag. With Chroma keyboard, I had a lot of lag. It doesn't lag on my Nexus 6P. It doesn't lag on my S7 Edge, but it lags like crazy. Is it optimized, or is it an optimization issue? Maybe, but ultimately, with the overheating and me noticing the battery life performance, and it all leads up to just performance as a whole. And when you factor in the lag of a Note, I don't know, $1,000 phone, when it performs on par with something that you could get for $700 or even $500, it just doesn't make sense, Samsung. So reason number 5, the Note 7 just failed to deliver. Why do you get a Note? Why do you pick a Note over a other phablet, like a Nexus 6P or something like that? Why don't you pick that up instead of a Note? The S Pen. The S Pen is what is groundbreaking for Samsung when it comes to their whole Note lineup. And the usability of the S Pen has improved drastically. I mean, it's very accurate. They've teamed up with Wacom. It feels great, it writes great, it performs great. It's even waterproof now, but they curved both sides of the display. Why would you do that? Don't you want to have a simulated experience of writing on paper? Paper's not curved. My paper isn't curved. Your paper may be curved, but my paper is not curved. And when I'm trying to write a note with the S Pen on the new Note 7, whenever I get to the edge and I hit that curve, it's just really frustrating. You can't have edge features and you can't have S Pen functionality together. The reason being is because if people want to use the S Pen, they need a canvas. They need the area to write on. And you're actually taking away that area by adding those dual curved edges. So for the last failure of the Note 7, number 6, I have to give it to TouchWiz. Now, I feel like we always go through this with TouchWiz. It's like a love-hate relationship. Some people love it, some people hate it. It's there. But my issue isn't really the performance of TouchWiz, because they've done a great job at minimalizing a lot of the things and making a better fluid experience, but they've gotten rid of a lot of the features that made TouchWiz a little bit better than stock Android, like the quick toggles at the top, being able to swipe through them, being able to pull down again, being able to access your brightness slider. They've gotten rid of all that. You have to go through more actions to get to it now. Now, I know it just sounds like I'm harping on Samsung and being a complete jerk about a phone that is wonderful, but that's not so. The Note 7 is a great phone and I'm still using it as my daily driver. The phone is beautiful, it's very powerful, very capable. It just has its flaws like any other phone out there. You know, it's not necessarily Samsung's fault. Now, do I think it's bad per se? No, these burnt cookies are bad, but the Note 7 just has a lot of flaws that can't be looked over, and I am looking forward to giving you guys my full review on that phone, so make sure you stay tuned. Follow me on all my social media connections. Check out my website, which did go live, and it will have exclusive posts on there, so make sure you subscribe to the weekly newsletter and so on and so forth. And I look forward to talking to you guys in the next video as I clean up this mess. Be easy.